that is never really completed, and it is one that cannot be learned in any other way except through repeated exposure to new and different stones. Now, as you can see in this photo, there are so many different colors in which natural diamonds occur, and on top of this, within each color variety, there are literally thousands of subtle color differences involving such things as color modifiers, meaning secondary colors, along with differences in lightness, such as light, medium, and dark, and also differences in saturation, such as weak, moderate, and strong, for every single color. So this puzzle, this creates a situation where accurate color description, which is based solely on human color memory, is prone to error. Well, assigning the correct color description for any colored diamond is no easy task. To do it right, it involves a trained eye and various scientific instruments, such as a colorimeter or a spectrophotometer. Now, this is a photograph here of one of the colorimeters that I use in my laboratory to measure the color of both rough colored diamonds and polished colored diamonds. Now, since most diamond collectors do not have access to a colorimeter like this, each collector or investor has to train their visual system. In other words, you have to train your eyes and your brain to see colors in their correct visual color order. Now, this can be done with a little practice. Now, in my opinion, it is most important to maintain this balance between the art and the science of analyzing colored diamonds, for the simple reason that as our ability to measure color in diamonds increases, our appreciation for their visual complexity and their visual beauty has also increased. Now, as such, we tend to admire colored diamonds not only for what we know about them from a technical perspective, but of equal fascination are the things that we cannot yet explain. For example, many of the questions we seek to explain with instruments are things that are easily visible to our eyes. Thus, colored diamonds present a great challenge, a mystery which man is constantly seeking to unravel. For instance, how yellow is the most saturated, vivid yellow diamond that Mother Nature has ever produced? Well, we can measure the color with a colorimeter instrument, and we can get a numerical color result, but what do those numbers mean? Does color measurement have any meaning to the average person? Well, in other words, how can you describe the color of this yellow diamond you see on the screen to someone else and have them understand exactly what you are saying in regards to color? Well, in this example, this diamond here was graded by a laboratory as a fancy, vivid yellow. But there's many fancy, vivid yellow diamonds out there. When I measured this stone with my colorimeter instrument, I found out that this was one of the most saturated, pure yellow diamonds I'd ever seen in my life. Hence, it is extremely rare and extremely valuable as a potential investment. This stone here weighs a little over 13 carats in size. You see, so this is where I come in as a research scientist, or more specifically, a research gemologist. I am frequently asked by my clients, people such as diamond merchants, retail jewelers, even diamond cutters, I'm asked to ascertain two very important things about every colored diamond. The first thing they ask is, what is the exact color of this diamond in the face-up direction? And the second question they want to know is, can this color be improved through recutting? Now, here we are looking on this slide at a 16-carat rough orange diamond in the middle, along with two 1-carat polished orange diamonds on either side. Upon casual inspection by eye, they all look somewhat similar. However, according to color measurement data, the 16-carat rough stone in the middle is actually going to yield a spectacular matched pair of 4-carat deep orange diamonds once it's finished. Well, this is significant because before the owner of this rough stone spoke with me and had me measure the color, he was actually convinced by others, diamond professionals, that this rough stone would only yield a dark brown diamond which was worth substantially less than he paid for it in the rough. So in this case, if this stone is cut properly, this rough could yield a matched pair of deep orange diamonds that could be worth anywhere between $35,000 and $75,000 per carat at the dealer level. Now, in addition, the rectangle stone on the right in this slide which was purchased recently in a parcel along with several other so-called autumn orange diamonds, is also quite unique according to the color measurement data. In other words, in this case, this stone on the right exhibits an extreme amount of saturation, what we call in the very, very strong category, making it highly valuable and an exceptionally rare specimen. Well, you might ask, how can this information regarding color measurement benefit you as an investor? Well, the answer to that question lies in how this color measurement data is being used by companies such as Pastor Geneve for the benefit of their clients. For example, take a good look at the 4 yellow diamonds on this screen. Now, upon casual inspection, they all look quite similar in appearance. They each have a modern rectangle radiant style cut. They all appear to be pure yellow in hue, and they all appear to be similar in color strength. However, I will tell you that 3 of these yellow diamonds were graded by a major United States gem lab as fancy intense yellow, and 1 of them was graded as fancy vivid yellow. In fact, the stone just to the right of the colorless diamond is the so-called fancy vivid yellow. Now, since this stone to the right of the colorless one has the better color grade on paper, one might assume that this stone is the better value. In fact, you would be wrong in assuming that. In this example, the 3 fancy intense yellow stones are a much better value because in terms of color strength, they are at the top level of the fancy intense grade range. In other words, they are nearly vivid in strength, where the vivid yellow stone that we see here represents the least amount of color strength that a so-called fancy vivid yellow diamond can have and still qualify as a vivid yellow diamond. Therefore, it should be valued closer to the fancy intense yellow in price. Now, as a collector or an investor, your first question might be, well, where do I begin the process of understanding accurate color description in colored diamonds? The logical place to begin is to understand that all fancy colored diamonds are given a color description when they are submitted to a gem testing laboratory. This is called the diamond's color grade. Now, a color grade is a written description of the diamond's face-up color, which is based upon various visual color comparison techniques and other visual color testing methods which have been developed by various diamond laboratories around the world. Now, the most widely used system in the diamond industry is the one that was developed by the GIA, or the Gemological Institute of America in the USA. Now, their system broadly attempts to define diamond's face-up color by grouping the color into one of several color grades, such as fancy light, fancy, fancy intense, fancy dark, fancy deep, or even fancy vivid. Now, for example, in this photograph, we're looking at an impressive display of natural pink diamonds from the Argyle mine in Australia. The color grades we see here range from a lovely fancy orangish brownish pink in the square emerald cut, which is the second one to the left. In other words, it's a pink with a little bit of orange and a little bit of brown. Next to that is a fancy deep pink color in the round stone to the right. And then to the right of that is a fancy vivid purplish pink. But what I really want to bring to your attention in this slide are the 2 colored diamonds on the far ends. Both of these diamonds received the same color grade from a gem lab, which was fancy intense purplish pink. We see this reinforces my point about color measurement, that each color grade actually represents a range of color strength for each grade. Therefore, while both of these fancy intense purplish pink stones, the heart shape on the far left and the round on the far right, are graded the same, they should be valued differently based upon their apparent color strength in